In this video, I will show you how to self-host OpenWebUI. I really love OpenWebUI. OpenWebUI is super good. And so I decided to buy the OE.ai domain and to host it there so that people can come and try it out. But I felt that it's way too good and way too important as the future of AI and as the platform for the future of AI. It had to be more accessible. I wanted people to at least have a place where they could come and try it out. Why would you want to host OpenWebUI? The main reason is that it gives you access to a chat platform where you can start to have very private conversation, where you can start to kind of have all of your life's context into one place. And so if you host OpenWebUI like this here, so you can see that because OE is a progressive web app, you can see that now you can just have this as a phone application. And in the phone, you will have the same feature as on the web version. And so you will have things like you can start a call. This is a little bit more experimental. It works. You can have the microphone where you can talk to it and then it transcribes, then you talk with the AI. You can have more than one AI model at the same time. You can call all of the best AI model in the world using OpenRouter. And so you have access to all of your conversation, all of your knowledge. You can set up some knowledge here that is accessible from everywhere in the world, but is in your private self-hosted computer. In the case of the two servers I've talked to you about, in my case, those are running from my home computer. And you could do something really cool with the NVIDIA Jetson, where you could buy an NVIDIA Jetson for about $300 and you could have that running in your home and you can set up a Cloudflare. You get to have in your home your own hardware that can run AI model. So Jetson can run 70B model on 4-bit, so it will be a little lobotomized, but it would still be quite useful. Yeah, and so I mean there are so many things to say. OpenWebUI lets you run local models on your machine. So if I have Olam on my laptop and I install OpenWebUI, I will be able to talk with large language models straight on my laptop and nothing will leave my laptop. I could be lost in the wood alone and I could be able to chat with my AI. The thing that gets me most excited about it is that it's like an aggregator where you can pick from different AI models from created by any of the big AI labs, and you can actually also mix them up. And you can switch from one AI to another in the middle of a conversation. And what I can do is that I can select either of them to continue the conversation as if that was the response, but I can also merge. So if I select Grok here and I press the merge button, I will now have an answer that is merged by Grok looking at both of those answers. And if I want to visualize that everything that we've just seen, I can go here into this overview and I can make it bigger and I can see the conversation and I can like pick that branch and then I will see what will happen in the continuation of this conversation using this branch. Or if I pick this branch, then that would be a conversation continuing on that branch. This is really cool. We can do really powerful artifacts too, and they are not sandboxed too much because you run on your own hardware. You run it yourself, so you can do whatever you want with it. There are also some really cool extensions, so you can define your own specialized model. We will do more. I will create a specialized model to help you self-host so you can talk with that model and it will help you and troubleshoot you as you go through this self-hosting process. We can set up some knowledge, and so like for example here you can create a knowledge base where you bring a lot of context and things about your life. And so let's just create one here. For example, we'll create a connection that will be, just a test. This is a test. If I make it public, that would mean that everyone in the community here on OneToken.ai have access to the knowledge I created. So if I do a tutorial and you want to kind of ask questions to that tutorial with one of the AI models, you'll be able to do it. So this is pretty cool. Let's go for private for now, okay? Or I can control on which group I give it. So if you're a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 subscriber, whatever, I can decide what type of knowledge I share with which type of groups. Now I create, and I will populate that with this nice add text content. And I really like this interface here. This is really nice because it's really polished. It's really simple, it's minimized, and so it lets you focus. You can even put it full screen, and wow, like what a nice focusing interface to take some notes. Now I have some really clean note, something really polished, and I can save it, okay? And so now that I have saved it, I can go back into a conversation and I can ask for the models to get this context. And so here we go. I'm gonna give it, and I'm gonna say, how would you improve that? And so yeah, so now we have citations about it, and I can merge the response with Gemini, so I have an even better response. This is absolutely amazing. I just love OpenWebUI. Let's jump into the real goal of this video, which is to show you how to self-host OpenWebUI. First step, you need a computer. You need a Linux computer. This will be better. You need a server. To get a server, the people at the different people on the Discord server, including the developer of OpenWebUI himself, they like to use DigitalOcean. So we'll do that, okay? Let's go there. Let's go for DigitalOcean. There are a lot of providers. DigitalOcean are not necessarily the best, but you can pick anyone. Let's go for DigitalOcean. Let's sign up. You will want to create a droplet. Choose a region. I'm going to choose Toronto because that's where I am. I will pick Ubuntu. I will go for basic. I will go for this one with regular SSD. And I will use the password, and that's it. Sure, create a droplet. The droplet is being created. What this does is that it starts a server managed and hosted by DigitalOcean, and this server is something that you can control. First step, let's log into that server. Okay, so my droplet has been created. This is awesome. I can make it bigger if I want to. Right now I don't want to. You can look at how it's being used, and we can go to the console. I'm showing you not necessarily the absolute best way of doing it, but very decent way that is also somewhat easy, okay? Because I don't want you to have to learn 1,000 things just to host your own chat interface. Now, we are in Linux, okay? Don't worry about it. Linux is awesome, especially nowadays with large language models, because you get their help. And that means that, and you know, it's easier to copy paste an instruction from the large language models into the terminal, and it's easier for them to get a description on what your system looks like in Linux than it is in the other operating systems, where they would often want to help you with point and click, and so then you have to go on and point and click everywhere. Okay, so Linux is ready. I have gone through that process several times, but I had a lot of help from the large language models, and I want us to go through these steps together, and I want to show you how you can achieve it yourself, even if you have not all of the knowledge. I want to be helped by all of those nice models, okay? So I set that as default. Now those 4 models will help us, okay? And we will merge their answers. First step, how do I set up and install Docker on a new Linux instance? And how would I do that all nice and clean so that I can then pull an image and run some Docker container? That was a little verbose, but why not? So now I have the 4 models. They're racing one next to the other, and they are going to give me help. So I have Anthropic, Gemini, DeepSeek, and O1 Preview. DeepSeek is open source and very, very cheap, but my access to it right now, sometimes it doesn't respond very fast. So we'll remove it. I had a few issues these last days with accessing it from OpenRouter. I'll show you how to set that up at the end. Now I would want to have this summary from Gemini. In my experience, it tends to be the best. If you want a briefer summary, you will ask Sonnet. If you want a more analyzed logically summary, ask O1 Preview. If you want a nice in-between, ask Gemini. This one is preventing us from doing the merge, so we want to stop it. And so now we have stopped it, and so we can see this, it has no response. And now we select this one, we go to the bottom, and we merge. And so this merge response would be what the other models next step will see, okay? And they will use that information to answer in the next steps. Now they have given me a lot of different lines because they don't know which Linux instance we're using. We have picked Ubuntu, okay? Ubuntu is quite a classic one, a standard one. We have a lot of easy help for Ubuntu, okay? So first thing, we have to remove all the old version. Why not? That seems like a reasonable suggestion. So we open the terminal, Control V, no, Control Shift V, yeah, enter, okay? So that's it. There was nothing installed, so nothing happened. So first things first, when we set up a Linux computer, we tend to want to update it. Control Shift V, and if you have tried Control V first, it will have a little bit of a problem. Control Shift V, now it's all clean, and there you go. We have logged in as root using a password and accessing from DigitalOcean. This is not, like I was saying, the safest, but in many situations, it is good enough. They gave us an updated version, so everything is nice. Let's go for that. Let's go for this. Bim bam boom. Those are some of the prerequisite package. Let's trust this, especially that it was a merged version from 3 model. Now we'll add Docker, set up stable repository. We'll do that. Why not? Peanut. And then we install Docker here. Now we can test Docker with Hello World here. So if Docker is well installed, we will be able to run Docker run Hello World. Then afterwards, we'll move to pulling the OpenWebUI image and running it. So now this Hello World has worked, and so we want to pull our OpenWebUI image. So we run Docker pull from there and from OpenWebUI main. There we go. Okay, so now it's downloading different things. This is not a big machine. It can take a little bit of time. Okay, and so that's it. Now I can run that. And so it will do like this, this, and that. Yeah, I like those settings. This will always restart. Start that. Error response daemon, select driver GPUs. Okay, let's remove the GPU part. And so at home I have GPUs. Okay, and now we will run this version here. So now it's already in use. Docker remove OpenWebUI, and there we come on, dude. Why is it not there? It's not in my options. Copy, V, Docker run, this is this and that. It has not started. Docker remove, Docker Control V. We want to remove that GPU part and enter. And there we go. Now we can attach to it to see what is going on, but be careful. If you attach to it and do Control C, you will kill the process and stop the application. So we want to attach to OpenWebUI. Now we can see the outputs, which there are none at the moment because it has already been created. And so now we can go on. Oh yeah, no, so it's popping up. Okay, here. So it's a little slow. It's fetching the files. It's opening up, and it will give us this link. Okay, So now we can go and access to this here, but this is not our local host, okay? This is online on the internet. We will tell our models that we've done that. Awesome, thank you. For you to note, we are using a DigitalOcean droplet, and we have run the following command successfully. Now help us have access to the page. And so I presume we need to do things with the firewall settings, maybe NGINX, and maybe there are some things that are DigitalOcean specific for us to access and test our OpenWebUI application. We will have to allow the port 3000, which is the port through which we will be communicating. So the Docker container communicates on 8080, but we communicate on 3000. So we have to open the port 3000 to the outside traffic. Then we also have to make sure that we are hosted everywhere, which should be the case. And so if we get our Droplet ID 3000, then we will be able to chat with our model. And then if we don't want to have to do that and have our own domain, we will follow the step below, which I want us to do later on. But we will start with the initial testing and trying to get a quick connection. So the important to not lock yourself out. We did not ask for an SSH. We don't want that. We have the password, so let's not do this. Let's make sure that this is installed. This is running, so I'll stop it. So now the application has been shut down. So now I want to sudo apt install on complicated firewall. Now that this is installed, I want to allow the port 3000. This is now allowed. I want to enable the firewall, and I will check the status. Yes, I want to check the status. So now we have 3000 that is allowed everywhere and anywhere. Let's start again our OpenWebUI. We have to remove it, then we will be able to run it. And in this case, I won't do the D, so I am right away attached to it. I don't detach. Okay, let's go for that. So now we're seeing what we should see anytime that OpenWebUI starts. Okay, so it's starting. It will take a little bit of time. While we do that, we will go find our Droplet ID. Okay, so this is our Droplet ID. This is the IP address. We have information here about the access. I want to enable that. Yes, enable now. A static IP address to point to your Droplet. Yes, assigned to. Where would you like to add the IP address? Assigned to a Droplet? Yes. Add a reserved IP address to the Droplet. Now this is done. I have my reserved IP address. So now this is my reserved IP address. So what's nice now is that if I do this, I go to HTTP and I put this and I go for 3000, I am in. Okay, so now you see that there was some request from my home IP address to OpenWebUI. And let's keep them side by side so we see that we are really the ones connected to here, okay? So first login on OpenWebUI is the super admin login. And so you can enter a name. Let's go for my name, your email address, and you pick a password. Make sure it's right because you don't enter it twice. Create an admin account. And I'll save that, okay? So now I have a nice pop-up. D'accord, here we go. First things I will do is change my parameter settings to English. And you can see if I save here, look at the left, boom, we had something, and here is it. It is, we saved our user settings. This is exciting. That could be it. You can stop there and you now have self-hosted OpenWebUI. One thing I like to do is to set up a OpenRouter connection. Go to openrouter.ai. You log in, you can go see your keys, and I will create a new key that will be OE for the win. Let's create that. OE for the win. I have my key. Settings. Admin panels. This is me. I'm the admin. I go create a connection, and I create a connection with OpenRouter. I put my key here, and so let's go in the playground. Let's no models. Nope, docs. Yep. Okay. So here we have the URL. Now we will use this. We'll bring that here. We'll do that. And that's it. We can test the connection, verify. Here it is. It works. Okay. So we are in. We save. Now we go to new chat and we have a lot of models. Okay. They are all there. Anything you've heard of, probably they are there. You have the models. Let's go talk with Minimax, which is a new open source model that was released about a week ago, not even, that has a context window of 4 million tokens, which is twice as big as Gemini, which was the biggest so far. I'm gonna go in my phone, going to do a new conversation. Now I will, so new conversation, I will maybe refresh the page. Let's refresh the page. Yeah, I see. Now I'm gonna talk with 5.4. Hello, it's Max. Send that. So now I wrote hello, it's Max here. And if I refresh here online, you will see that there is this introduction with 5.4 from hello, it's Max. So I can talk to my chat interface from any of my device, and everything is hosted on the server that I control, server that I own while I'm renting it, and that is always online and on internet and accessible from everywhere. This is very exciting, and I can have access to every models from all of the big model providers. If you go here and see at the models, just by setting our OpenRouter connection, we now have access to 219 models. Okay, you will have O1 here, so O1 from OpenAI, O1 Mini, O1 Preview. O1 from OpenAI won't work for you unless you have already spent $5,000 with OpenAI API, because you need to be this special tier user. But the other ones will work, so O1 Preview will work. There are some very nice free model from Gemini, from Google. This one is really, really nice. So another thing I recommend you do is you set up your audio, where I like to use, let's test audio local on such a small machine. Why not? Oh, permission denied. Oh yeah, because of HTTPS and everything. This is our next step. Now let's set up a secure connection, okay? Because right now this is not really safe, because every message we send on the internet they can be captured and decrypted and read, or not even decrypted because they're not encrypted, okay? So we want to set up a secure connection. We will bring that, we'll give some context to our little AI helper. We'll make it big. Hello guys. Let's close this up. So did we do a merge? We didn't do a merge from that. Let's not do a merge because we followed Sonnet. Sonnet's instructions are succinct here. I have done step 1 and 2, and now I can access to my Droplet because I've also picked a static IP address from DigitalOcean. So everything works, it's amazing, but I would like to have this HTTPS connection to be secure. I don't have a domain name and I don't want to have a domain name. Can you help me make that connection secure? Let's give, here is the IP. In general, Sonnet tends to be briefer and more to the point, but it can do a few mistakes, like miss a few edge cases. Gemini is more verbose and complete. It can still do mistakes, but it gives you maybe a little bit more context. And O1 Preview is also very verbose. It goes in every direction and it's not so clear, but usually it makes less logical mistakes or mistakes of incoherence. Okay. Now we'll pick Gemini, the one in the middle, and we will do a merge. So yeah, when you have a secure connection, the connection goes to 443 and you want to have the port 80, which is the HTTP port, redirected to 443. And so for that reason, you would want to set up an NGINX server. Okay, so first step, NGINX. Let's not keep it running. It's just gonna kind of mess things up. Let's go for that. We install NGINX. I believe we already did, but why not? Control-Shift-V. We make sure we have everything updated. And so to ensure your IP address is included in the subject alternative name, use a configuration file. Okay. We do this, we do that. This will open a small editing window where you cannot really use the mouse. rec distinguished name, paste the following below with your IP, and it has provided our IP. Adjust the field country state as you prefer. Now generate the certificate. Okay, Shift V. Now we'll go change that. My organization, let's go for one token.ai, or let's just go for one token.ai because I might have problems with that. Unit will be, so IP is good. External request, I don't care. And let's do Control-Shift-X, Control-X, okay, Y to save, and there we go. This has been adjusted. Let's go for our certificate here. Now we will want to go configure NGINX for OpenWebUI. They suggest we change the name to OpenWebUI SSL. We'll copy all that there. That's it. Control-X. And so we are making sure here we are going to server name, localhost, localhost 3000. That should work. Yes. I think everything in here is fine. So there we go. I'm not gonna pretend that I don't use the LLMs, guys. Here, this is a AI empowered community. So we want to remove OpenWebUI. If we had it, we want to do a link from our site available to our site enabled. Then we want to check if it's good, and then we want to start NGINX. Yes, let's do that. Okay. Cannot remove because it's not there. The syntax is okay and it's successful. Good. Now we are using uncomplicated firewall, and so we want to allow the HTTPS traffic. To allow that, we can do allow NGINX full. If we don't need HTTP access anymore, we can disable it. Now, could not delete, non-existent. Okay, rule added. I want to look at that, so sudo, I don't need to, uncomplicated firewall status. Okay, so now we have our access to port 3000 and our access to NGINX full. Your browser warned that a connection, Let's go check out our connection now. And so for this, we will first need to launch our image again. So we remove and we launch. Yeah, OpenWebUI is there. Cool. So now if we go there, it will work. They said, let's try it again. Invalid security certificate. The certificate is not trusted because it is self-signed. Oh, accept the risk and continue because I self-signed it. So what this means is just that it tells people in the world that I have attested my certificate connection by myself and they should not trust me, but I can trust myself. Okay, and so we see now we're back to it. We restarted it, but we have everything we have set up. So we still have our models, we still have our conversations, we can use the microphone, and that's it. You have your own OpenWebUI online. You save that URL to your bookmarks, and now you can be there. If you want to invite some friends and you can have your friends and family there with you on your interface, let's have the people coming in as users and let's save that. And so what we're going to do is that we will create the user ourselves. Okay, so we want to add a user here so that is easier for you. We can give them user name is friend1, and let's say that their email is this and their password is that. So now I have a friend, okay, and let's go be the friend that joins. We are going in, and so we are now connected. The password that you have just used was found in a data breach, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, thank you, Google. You are being overcautious right now, but it's okay. You don't know what I'm doing. So now I'm the friend. I have my own conversations. I can start a conversation. It tells me hi. Because my locale is in Quebec, it always thinks that I want to speak French, and I don't, not right now. So let's go for English. Okay. So now I can talk. Okay. I don't have models. Okay. Also, that's interesting. Let's set it up. So my friend does not come in with any models or any connection. if I want my friend to use any of those models, I have to make them public. So either I choose which model I give to my friend, and so I can, let's say, give access to that, and they will use my API keys, or you can set up some pretty fancy things. And so if I make it public and I save and update, I refresh as the friend on Google, because you see I'm friend 1. Now I see this model and I can talk with it. Hello. Now, a thing to keep in mind that, ethical thing to do is to let people know that you see their message. When people come in, you have the ability to see their message. You can turn it off, but by default, the admin can see the messages. So if I go to users, I go to my friend, I go to message, and I see that, my friend has just had a chat saying hello, and I can see what they said. So that would be like, with your close-knit friends or family members. I've heard people that had no problem having up to 10 people on this Droplet. And so what happens here is that we now have, for $12 a month, our own chat interface, where we can have a lot of knowledge about our lives. We can load a lot of information in knowledge here. We can set up our own special prompts. I like to do one, fix, let's say, and it's like, fix this text for better grammar, typos, and fix typos. And you do clipboard. You save and create. Now it's public, so my friend can go use it. Let's go be that friend. I am that friend. Is it already here? It is. So if I'm the friend and I want to fix something that's in my clipboard, I have to allow the thing in my clipboard, and that was just the IP address, so it's coming in here, and now it will fix the typos and mistakes. Let's that is quite amazing. Very nice. By default, when my friend come in, they have access to nothing. They don't have access to the same workspace as we do, but we can make it so, okay? So if I go to my admin and I go to groups, and so the default permissions to people, I can say they have access to everything, okay? In particular, that will let them run code on the server, so you have to be mindful of that, whether it's something you want or not. Now my friend is here. If my friend refreshes, you get the workspace. So my friend can make themselves some specialized models. Here would be, no, let's not go for that. Let's go for one from the community. And so there are 123,000 people in the community. I have to go and do a login if I want to join, but I already have one. So let's unlock the community. There are different models that comes in with specialized system prompt, and there are tools, and there are so many exciting things you can do here. So we can create our own model, and so let's say that we want to create a model that acts like a pirate, and we want that model behind the scene to be based on Gemini, and we may want to share it to everyone, so the administrator and all the other friends on the platform, and we say you are a pirate. Okay, and we save that. Now if I go there, I have two models. I have Gemini and the pirate. So there you go. Now this is how you set up the access for your friends to create their own models. There your friends can have their own knowledge, and the knowledge can be shared publicly or privately, like this here, private, and there you go. The administrator have access to everything. Keep that in mind. Your friends can do their own prompt. Again, they can make it public or private, and they can install tools. Let's go install a tool from the community. I want to look at all the tools. Let's go new tool. There is one for web scraping. Okay, why not? No enhanced, no weather, no stock reporter. Why? Let's try that. Okay, will this work? We'll see. So we want to get this tool. We import it. So this will pop up the tool. Now it brings the whole thing. So we just save this. We confirm. And we go back to create a new conversation. Okay. Now we have the tools here where we can set up some parameters. We don't need any for this tool. We create a new conversation. we activate the tool, okay? And we say maybe it's stock reporter, so why not NVIDIA, okay? I don't know if this would work. Now it's retrieving stock data, and it says, well, sorry, you don't have the API to retrieve the data, and so it's not gonna work. But if we had the API, we would have gotten some stock data. And so that's it. That's how you can add tools to your models. And so now I have Gemini that could have access to stock data if I have the proper setting. You can then pay for your Droplet. And as long as your Droplet is up and running, you will have access to this chat interface from your phone. You can share it with your friend. You can have access from everywhere in the world. You can have access to more than 200 models with OpenRouter. And this costs you only $12 a month. And the API OpenRouter connection, they charge about 10% more than if you were to go connect to each of the different model providers. And in my experience, a very, very big day of talking with the LLMs all day, let's say with Cloud Sonnet 3.5, will cost about $3 to $5. But those days don't happen quite often, most of the days, and we're using this, and we are more around, 30 cents to $1. So that is about $30 a month plus your $12. So for $42 a month, you have access to all the models in the world, hosting your own thing. Everything is private and everything is nice, and you can install extension. It's infinitely extensible. You can have right now the best model in the world, which in my opinion is where when you run with two models, one next to the other one, and you merge the results, particularly using O1 Preview, Sonnet 3.5, and Gemini 1206. Let me know if you're doing it, if things goes well. Join the Patreon community if you want help for that. If you want to have access to all of the lines of code that I have run in this tutorial, join the Patreon community and you will get an invite to come into OneToken.ai. With OneToken.ai, you will get to chat with the specialized AI models we're creating for you. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more content on AI and tech. Also, go give a star to the OpenWebUI GitHub repository. Tim's work is absolutely mind-blowing. This OpenWebUI platform is really, really important for us to keep control of our lives and our chats, our data. With a connection through something like OpenRouter or directly setting our connections ourselves with the different model providers, it really enhances the competition between the different labs because we own and develop our own interface with our own extensions, and we only pick the best model that has the best performance and the best price, meaning that there is a new better one, we use that, and they are forced to be very open and they are forced to share the models to have decent priced. And because if open source is beating them, then we'll call an open source model. By doing that, we ensure that in this really important change in society where we are getting close to give our whole life away information, because those models are only good if they have the context. So they need a lot of context. That means you need to share a lot of things and give a lot of context about your life to these models. And this is a good way to keep control. And it's a good way to put the right incentives in place so that the big labs, they act properly. I really, really think that OpenWebUI is first an amazing interface. It's delightful. It's awesome to use and to work in. It has all of the features that the other one have, but it's open source and it's self-hostable, and you can even use it running your own local models. If you do all of the installs, but you don't do the thing about the IP address, and you just do it all with your own local computer with your own IP address, you would have some things to do with your home router and the fact that your IP is probably dynamic because it's your home IP. But if you're setting it up, you can also have it, at your home in your complete control. Thanks for being here, and thanks for watching, and thanks for, coming along for this really probably once in a civilization experience. This is just so cool.